So we started to accommodate 200 people in stretching class. So please feel free to spread round. As long as somebody's got a big space in the middle for filming, because it's very
popular. And we don't want to turn people away because again, like you want to be inclusive for everyone. As long as you can see me, there's space here, space here. Again, if there are any particular stretches you want me to work on, happy to do that for anyone. What we're going to do with this warm-up is we're actually going to use a bit of the wall. So please feel free to spread around on the wall. This is a great way of getting your legs and hips moving. Okay, so these are what I call flossing exercises. Go through a motion over and over again. So hopefully everyone can see me, but you've got your foot on the wall. I'll turn around and I'll show you. And basically, you're bending your knee as much as possible and then straightening it. The higher your foot is on the wall, the harder it will be. And for those of you who are very flexible, you can put your hands on the wall and put your legs in. So as you go forward and back, there's more of a stretch forward. We're going to do 30 seconds on one side and 30 seconds on the other leg. Okay? Nice and simple. Okay? Ready and go for it. So you bend your knee, keep your chest attached to your thigh, and then straighten your leg. Bend as much as possible, then straighten it.
Danny, come on. You're not in there. I just put that one in the car.
I know. Yeah, mental's out. Okay, and change legs. Okay, get a rest. Now this one, you probably won't be able to bend your leg as much. Again, lower on the wall, easier, higher on the wall, harder. You're going to go side on, bend your knee in and straighten it out. What I like to do is bring my hand to this knee, then I know how much is crushed, and then straighten out. Balance can be an issue, so turn this toe away from the wall. Okay? Ready, 30 seconds, and go for it. That's it, bend it in, and that's it. Just that. And switch sides, and go for it. Nice and low on the wall, doesn't have to be high at all because it's all about the bending and then pushing against the wall to straighten that does the job. Okay, relax. Okay, now this next one, if you find it difficult resting your foot on the wall for whatever reason, please move over to where the bench is because it works equally well putting it on an object. But basically from here, I've got my foot on the wall, my hands are out, I tip down, doesn't matter if your fingers touch the floor or not, then using my core, I lift back up. So I'm basically working this inside muscle to bring me back up. Okay, again, doesn't matter how high the leg is on the wall, just that both legs are straight. Okay, and you're going down in a straight line, not tipping forward. Okay, and go for it. How are you feeling, Adam, after something? Yeah. Okay. What about you, Carl? How are you feeling?
Oh,
yeah.
It was something doing this, I mean, but afterwards, I
yeah, no worries. How are you feeling, Adam? Okay. Adam B, Adam H, Adam B.
Yeah, I'm pretty sore.
And switch sides. Okay, come back to squat, rest. This is a different way to warm up. Okay. So go back to your spot on the mat, just wherever's comfortable for you. Okay. This is just another way to warm up the hamstrings and the hips. Feel free to use your blocks if you need to. Legs are as wide as you want them to be. You keep your hands on the floor, and your hands stay on the floor or the blocks. And you bend and straighten your legs. What you can slowly start to do is bring your heels in closer to get more of a hamstring stretch. Okay, so we're going to do 10. There, so bend and straighten. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and stand up. Okay, again, take your legs up as wide as you feel comfortable. I'm just going to bend into one knee and the other. So bend from one side, the other, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you make it more intense by keeping your hands on the floor and walking your hands from side to side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to sit down in a Cossack lunge on your toes, up to you whether you want to have your hands down or hands off the floor. You're going to keep your feet where they are and go from side to side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you can stick with that version if that was intense for you. The more intense version is to go from standing and to keep your foot flat to the floor. Okay, so what I do now is I sit and then stand, so a full Cossack lunge. But if you want to stay with the lower Cossack lunge, you can. Okay, just another 10 going from side to side. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And sit down, come to the floor. Rest up, warm up, completed. This is the way, the gentler way to work into the front split. So that's a more intense way. This is a gentler way. This is also good for after training, after running. So what I'm in a lunge position here. Less intense, knee closer. More intense, knee further back. So you pick the intensity you want the stretches at, okay? Because I'm going to do it from the front. So
We're going to do one side for about 5 minutes. Then we're going to do the other side for 5 minutes, okay? 10 repetitions of each. So first of all, just push forward until you can feel a stretch in this hip flexor. So 1, 2. If you want to put something under your knee, like a pad or anything, your weak knees, feel free to put a pad underneath your knee. Because we're going to be here for a while. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you're going to put your hands down, curl your back toe, and just lift your knee up, keeping your hip down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now put the back knee down and curl your toes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this front knee out to the side so my front foot rolls onto the blade. And as I go back, I'm going to keep my foot plantar flexed and try and straighten my leg. Do not worry if it straightens or not, as long as you feel a stretch in the hamstring. So we push out the hip and then back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to go back to that last stretch, that lizard stretch. Keep on the hands if that was intense enough for you, or you can put your forearms on blocks or on the floor. And you're going to curl that back toe and lift your knee again 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now bring your foot into the middle. Make sure your heel can come up and put your hands either side. Less intense closer to your hips, more intense closer to your foot. Deepest lunge, deepest fold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now we're going to move this foot across into a pigeon stretch. And again, if you find the pigeon stretch difficult, just put your hip underneath the pad, okay? And all we're going to do, this is going to be fun. 2 options. You can either start to fold forward, happy Mondays, or I've got a new one, okay? It's called hands off, hands forward, 5 seconds each, okay? So just try this for me. This is a new one, okay? If you don't want to do it, just do the fold forwards, okay? Because it's quite horrible lifting your hands off the floor. So lift your hands up in a prayer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then fold forward for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lift your hands up for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know it's horrible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just walk your hands over to one side. And then walk your hands to the other side. Okay, bring the foot back up. One of the fun things I heard was sometimes when you've got a tight muscle, it's not actually that muscle is tight, it's your absolute opposite muscle. So let's say you've got tight hamstrings. It might be because you've got a tight quad. So again, this is intense for some people, but curl your back foot off the floor. And if you're able to reach back for your foot. So this is an intense quad stretch here, okay? If you can't reach your foot, don't worry about it at all. And you can stay there or you can rock forward and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The good news is we're done with that one side. So now we can, but feel how stretched that one leg is compared to your other. Yeah, it's crazy. So other leg forward now. Go into the gentle hip flexor stretch first. Okay, so forward and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now take both hands down, curl your back toes, keep your hip low and lift your knee. You should feel it in your hip flexor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then pick your one hand up, push the knee out to the side, and then keep the foot pinned to the floor, plantar flex it, and fold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, again, go back to that lizard stretch, either hands, forearms on blocks or forearms on the floor, okay? And lifting up that back knee. Great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now walk that foot into the middle. Take it a little bit further forward so it can come up to his heel. Position your hands in an appropriate place and deepest lunge, deepest fold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then walk the foot across for the pigeon stretch. Now again, when we're lifting and folding, you can just go forward and back. This lunge motion here, perfectly feasible, okay? I just did this the other day, but I was holding it for 20 seconds each time and it was intense, okay? We're just doing it for 5 seconds on my count of 5, okay? So lift up your hands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then fall forward for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and again lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and fold for 5. 1, 2, 4, 5, and then take it over to one knee. Take it over the other foot. Okay, come back up onto your foot and just give that quadricep stretch a go. Then bend the back knee and reach for it with the opposite hand. Reach for it. Feel free to stay there or rock forward and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So that's the flowing version of how to get into your front split. And again, you just fill that out. These are the static stretches. I call them tester stretches. Used to be the only stretches we ever did, but I call them little tests now. So again, place one leg forward and push the knee down. So don't worry if you pass or fail these tests. It's not really about that. It's about you being very honest with yourself where you are, where you want to get to. Okay. So first test is, can you grab your foot with the same hand? And then you think about, how relaxed am I? So you always come back to that breathing. Am I breathing naturally? Could I stay here easily for 5 minutes? You think, yeah, I can stay here for 5 minutes. That probably means you're okay to move on to the second level. Does that make sense? So now we're going to twist a bit more and reach for it with the other hand. Now for me, this is more intense. And I think to myself, well, I probably couldn't hold this for 5 minutes. I'd probably hold it for a minute. So this is where you do your deep breathing and tell your body to chill out. And then final test, can I reach forward and grab my foot with both hands? Okay, so you reach forward. And then think to yourself, can I get my head to my knees? And come up. So they're all like little tests you can give yourself, okay? So then go on the other leg. No, not, the legs aren't equal. My left leg is not equal to my right leg. Okay, so this is fine too. So it's good to do both sides. So reach the one foot. That's it, and breathe. So Adam, what I want you to think about is pinching that big toe. That's what I want you to think about first. Just pinch that big toe. Come up and then twist. And then come up and try and reach with both hands. Okay, and come up. So one of the things going to help with this next stretch, this is the hurdle stretch, this is not for everyone. So carry on doing this version where the foot is forward. But another thing that can help is if you sit on a block. So you're slightly elevated and then you take your leg back. Doesn't put so much pressure on the hip. But basically now, to get into the front split, we want to be pushing this foot forward and pushing this hip back, which is not natural, okay? Well, it is natural, but again, after you sat down for years and years, it doesn't feel natural. So again, I'm just going to sit here either on the block, one foot back, or if this causes you pain, keep the foot forward in the stretch we just did, okay? So now we're going to breathe forward with one hand, two hands. And then we're going to twist back. What I like to do is grab my heel on my knee and look over my shoulder. Okay, and now what I do is I use my hands to lift my hips up, push my leg forward, and take my other leg back. Okay, and again, reach forward. And twist. One more time, lift. Stretch forward. Twist. Okay. Come up. And switch. And stretch forward. And then come up and twist. And then lift your hips up. Take one foot forward, one knee back slightly. And again, go forward. Look over your shoulder and twist. And last time, push forward. Again, turn, twist to the back. Okay, come in. Just give your hips a little bit of TLC before we move on to the next bit. Now, the next part is the PNF stretching. And this is the bit that really made a difference for me in terms of making sure, doesn't matter how flexible you are, but wherever you're stretching to, you should be strong in that position. So this is the building strength, and there's lots of ways of building strength, just change legs. But this is just one that I have personally found very, very useful. We're going to do 5 rounds of this. If at any time you want to like knock off after 3, that's totally fine, especially if it's new to you, okay? So it's a very simple position. And again, feel free to put a pad underneath your knee because you're going to be on your knee for a while. You've got one leg straight and one leg bent. So a half frog, half side split, okay? So what we're going to do for 30 seconds, what we're going to do for a count of 5 is squeeze these muscles together. Like I could squeeze through the floor like a pliers, okay? So squeeze everything in for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then relax, turn the toe up and squeeze. If you want to lean slightly towards this leg on this first time. Okay, and relax. And this is just for me to remember this 5. I put my hands on blocks for the next round. So let your legs slide out a little bit further apart if they're feeling okay to it, okay? And get ready to squeeze. Ready, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. Now turn up the toe and squeeze. 5, good. Now if you want to stay on any of these levels, you can. If you want to stay on the blocks, that's fine. But I'm going to go down without the blocks now, okay? So again, toes forward and squeeze. Relax, turn the toe up and squeeze. Good, relax. Now I'm going to come down onto my forearms, but you can feel free to stay where you are. And I'm going to squeeze. Now, this is the bit that sucks. I'm going to try and turn my toes up without lifting my forearms off the floor. Yeah, that sucks. And squeeze. Okay, relax. This is the final level now. I'm going to try and lay my chest to the floor. And squeeze. Now, not all of you will be able to do this, but the idea is now you sit back, like back into that hurdle stretch that we just did, and squeeze. Good, and come out. And then we're going to do it on the other side. So, ready, and squeeze. Turn the toes up, and squeeze. Good, toes forward. I'm just going to come on the pad because otherwise I forget how many rounds are 5. Let your legs go that bit further and squeeze. Relax, turn the toes up and squeeze. Relax, toes forward onto your hands and squeeze. Relax, toes up and squeeze. Relax, toes forward, down at the forearms and squeeze. And relax, toes up and squeeze. Last level, toes forward, low as you can. Ready, and squeeze. And then try and sit all the way back with your toes up. Okay, and relax. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, we've got equal numbers, that's good. Okay, so this is my favorite stretch now. It takes a little bit of time. So we've basically got 7 pairs. But I don't think I've got enough good wave riders. So what you're going to do now with your partner is you're going to be your partner's wave rider to push against, okay? If you want me to set up a wave rider, I can maybe set up 1 or 2, but I haven't got enough for everyone, okay? Basically, it works like this. So, can I borrow? Right. So I'm just going to turn the camera over here so you can see. Okay, so basically, in an ideal world, I've got 2 walls like about this far apart, and third's going to be my wall, okay? So he's going to be my wall, and I've got my kick here, and I hold my leg out for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, as I bring my leg back down, it's the important bit. I bring my toe into the groove of your leg, so I'm slightly closer to the wall. I'm going to put my hands on him, and now I can take my leg up a little bit higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get a little bit closer. Your leg goes a little bit higher. And I get a little bit closer, a little bit higher. Now, the great thing about these walls is they're measured. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Not many of you are going to go higher than level 9. But again, the idea is maybe today you're level 5, and after we do this again in about 3 or 4 months' time, you're level 6. Does this make sense? So again, it's better with a wall or a wave rider, but a person is good too. Okay? So with somebody you're comfortable with, if you don't have a partner, I'll set you up a wave rider. But I've got wave riders for everyone. Okay? This is Emma. Okay. Also, this fine. Okay.
Thank you. Sorry.
Look at that, Chris. Amazing. That's a big improvement from last time, yeah? Good. Okay, good. Oh, look at that, yeah. That's a huge improvement. Well done. Okay. All right. So, now, if you've got blocks, these are wonderful things to have for measuring your split. If you're close to it, if you're not close to it, having things like the shields are good to have as well. So basically, I'm going to show you how you slowly get into your front split. But if anyone wants to grab a shield or two to rest their legs on, you can, or pads or anything else like that. But basically, it's good to have like something to measure on the floor. Does that make sense? Okay. So go back to your space. We're going to work into our front split now. Yeah, you can always take them away. Four, two, four, two, 12. Now, in your house or whatever, if you've got a certain kind of cushion, if you've got like the sofa cushions or anything like that, this is perfect. Okay. The main thing is that when people go into the front split, they immediately want to come straight out of it. What you've got to realize is you've got to be there for a little bit amount of time for your body to get used to it. Okay, so this is why resting on something solid is good. Okay, so basically what we did earlier, we were like flossing back and forth. That's how you get into your front split. Okay, so if you just sit down for a second so the people behind you can see. So basically what I do is I've got my pads here, and instead of being on my knee like earlier, I'm now on my foot. Does that make sense? So my hands are down and I'm rocking side to side, and my foot's slightly going forward, and this leg is slightly going back until I can do that. Does that make sense? Yeah. So then I'm resting there for a bit, and then I think to myself, right, that was okay. I'll do that now. So then I rock forward and back again, and I'm getting down, 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 and I rest on there. Okay, and then you can see how it progresses, yeah? But what I want you to do, you're going to do this in your own time, which is very personal to the person. If you need more pads, come grab more pads. If you need less pads, just take them away. You're going to do one side a bunch of times, and I want you to stay on the one side until you get as low as possible, then change sides. Because if you do one side, then the other side, the one side will go like, oh yeah, we don't need to worry about that. So stay on one side. We've basically got about 5 or 6 minutes left. One side for 2 or 3 minutes, then the other side for 2 or 3 minutes, okay? Just going forward and back, okay? Give it a go. So you're flossing forward and back, pushing the legs back. And Julie, if anyone shouts out photo, can you have a camera ready? Because some people might go, Eureka, I've got it, this lesson. That's it, that's what you want. Yeah. Nice, man. Very nice. Cool. Nice, Chris. Very impressive. Nice jam. These are great. Wonderful. Okay, if you slowly come out your split, what we're going to do now is just going to do some restoring sort of exercises. Again, that's very intense. We just did. Let's bring the shoes for the front. So again, My advice is always don't do the front splits all the time because you're just ragging the muscles. The idea is to get them strong with your smaller stretches, then every 2-3 months, then you test it, yeah? And then each time you see improvement. If you try and see improvement every day, stretching doesn't work like that. Everyone has good days and bad days. Okay, so what we're gonna do for these last poses, we're gonna lie on our back. So what I want you to do first is just to hold your 2 knees and do in to out circles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then change direction out to in circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then grab your feet either inside on the ankles or outside, a happy baby, and just rock side to side. And then slowly cross one leg over figure 4, reach through your legs, grab and hold on. Either stay still or rock side to side. And switch leg. You're going to put our feet together for butterflies pose. You know, have your arm out to the side or in cactus arm position, and just breathe slowly. And bring the knees together. Take the feet wider than the hips and let the knees come in. Very slowly start to roll to the right. Come on. Well done, everyone. So the people who've been doing the stretching class for a while now, seen a big improvement in everyone. So that means it's really working. So well done, guys, for keeping at it. It takes a long time, but it helps out a lot of things, circulation and strength and everything else. So well done. Fantastic, guys. Awesome.